Arvind Chithambaram, the leader of the Prague Masters 2025, after 7 rounds, the sole leader in fact, takes on David Navara in this round number 8, the penultimate round. He has the white pieces here, and if he wins this game, he could very well win the tournament as well. Arvind calmly adjusting his pieces. What an event this has been for him. He beat Anish Giri in the previous round with a blistering attack, and for that victory
So
there
the
is a
first
game
game
of the
was
day
the
prize
game of round
which
7.
for sure
The
will
prize
go
will
to
be
Arvind
Mr.
right before
Aravindh.
the game. And there you can see he's being awarded that prize, and look at David Navara's hands there clapping for his opponent. Such a nice gesture there, and Arvind gets a trophy for his amazing play against Anish Giri. We also have a guest who's joining in and makes the first move
So
b3, and look at Arvind there with a smile. And he, as soon as the guest leaves, he's very quick to get the pawn back because that's a move he doesn't want to play. b3 is not what he wants to do here. So Arvind gets focused for the game. This is a very, very important clash now. The game begins. David Navara gets up in his chair. What a respectful gesture by David. He's such an amazing person. And now opening the game with e4, and it makes complete sense because when you are having a half point cushion, you want to play something that's well known, solid, and so on. So e5, knight comes out to f3, presses the clock, and David puts his knight out on c6. Let's see what Arvind comes up with. Rui Lopez seems like a normal way to continue. Yes, plays bishop to b5, presses the clock, threatening now. Bishop takes c6 at some point. There are these lines, but knight f6, the Berlin on the board. Now Arvind goes castles, because if you are like playing really for a win, you can go for the anti-Berlin with d3, but castles means that you are much more ready for an equalish position. I mean, d4 will take you into the Berlin endgame, but I'm sure that Arvind wants to go rook e1. Yes, exactly, that's what he plays, and this makes a lot of sense from the tournament situation perspective, because you get a position that is very even and with a small edge for white to keep pressing. Knight takes pawn, very important not to pick up this bishop, because knight takes knight, check, and you lose the queen. So he plays bishop to e7, and now you go bishop f1. Yeah, he plays his bishop back to f1 here, and now knight takes knight by David. Rook takes on e5, and black simply castles it out. Knight c3 was played by Thaidaiwan against David Navara in this tournament. Let's see if Arvind also chooses that move. Well, he decides to go d4, which is the main line, and David now plays his bishop to f6, attacking the rook here on e5. The rook can drop back to e1. He plays it, rook e1 on the board. And rook e8 played here. So the idea is to simply push the pawn and bolster the center with the move c3. But there's also possibilities like bishop f4 here, rook takes rook. Arvind chooses to play c3. It's a very solid move. And black has some ways to respond here, one of them being c6, perhaps preparing d5 later on after moving the knight. David decides to take on e1. And because there's only one open file in the position, one might think that, hey, this is very drawish. But look at the pieces of black. They're slightly uncoordinated, while white pieces are coming out very quickly. He goes queen e7. That's an interesting move. You could have also gone for knight f5 move with the idea of d5. That's a possible line to play. But queen e7. and I believe Aravindh may want to trade queens now. So he takes, queen takes queen. Bishop takes e7 played, taking back the queen, and now bishop to f4 looks like the most likely move, because with that move what you do now is that the c7 pawn is hanging, so the knight cannot move. So if you go back knight e8 with the idea of d5 and getting the bishop out, I may have c4 with the knight coming out and a small edge. So David here being put under some pressure, although both players have made moves very quickly until now. Now he plays g5, attacking the bishop. You can take on d6, but that doesn't feel right. You can also come back on g3, but then maybe h5, trying to go for h4. He actually takes it. Oof, bishop takes d6. Wow. Well, Aravindh, I think, is just going for something that is very small edge, because after bishop d6 he's still trying to fight for a small lead in development. He brings his knight to d2. The knight could go to e4, attacking the bishop and pawn. Also the rook can swing over to e1, getting in here. So plays bishop to f4, attacking the knight. And now knight comes to e4. This is a very nice move because you are threatening a check. Also, you may want to play g3 somewhere. So goes king g7 here. King comes up to g7. And now g3 is a huge move. In fact, Aravindh has a big position here, but he goes rook e1, he misses it. The point was g3, the bishop has nowhere to go, and then after d5 you can take, you are already a pawn up, and if king g6 trying to win, you have rook e1, bishop f5, f3, pawn takes, and maybe rook e5. And then you can't take this because of bishop d3, h4 is coming up, and it's completely nice for Aravindh. He misses such a big opportunity here, and instead goes rook e1 when d5 is played, and now he's back in the game, David Navara. Aravindh misses a huge opportunity. Knight g3, and you can take the knight now. Takes bishop takes g3. H takes g3. And now bishop e6. And guys, this is a simple draw now. There were a few more moves that were played in this position, roughly around 12 moves, but the result was never in doubt.